Okay, where's Lynxburg? Or is he still out looking at real estate? What are you doing today, Kathy? It's frickin' snowing here again. God damn Cleveland. All right. The fur of the lynx is here. Broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Cleveland. It's station WDWL TV, home of not one, but 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And back by popular demand, it's your host, Grumpy Stern. And also back by popular demand, the Grumpy Jackalope. Hey. Whoop. Oh, all right, asshole. And we're brought to you by Grumpy Vulture Productions. No bow. See you, bye. Yeah, I get up this morning and make coffee, raise the shade. I'm like, what the hell's that white shit doing out there? Goddamn Cleveland weather, for Christ's sake. Matter of fact, what is it right now? 29 degrees. I think it was 31 when I went to the store. Whenever it gets below 32, that's when I wear my official Olympics coat. I actually had a woman ask me today about it because she saw the Salt Lake City 2001. She goes, "Is that a real Olympics jacket?" I said, "What does it say?" "Well, it could be a knockoff." I said, "No, it's real." "How do you know it's real?" "Because I got it from the person that was wearing it at the Olympics." "How do you know they were at the Olympics?" I said, "Because it was my cousin, and he was a cameraman for NBC TV. He had the whole garb, the jacket, the overalls, the gloves, the boots, the shirts, the pants. He didn't like the color of the jacket, so that's why he gave it to me." And I'm done with the sunglasses. I need to read the chat. Holy shit, I can see. Oh, you guys had some snow flurries down there? 81 degrees. Rub it in. All right, let's hear it. Give us the house report. We're waiting in suspense. Any of the three work out, or Are you lined up for 3 more for next Sunday? Come on. Got my hoodie caught. I'm starting to enjoy this wig. I really am. I wish it was my real hair. I wish I had hair like this when I was a kid. Bid on an older house that needs nothing. Cool. Let's hope they accept the bid. What area is it in? Is it in like an older neighborhood of Because a lot of times older neighborhoods have older people. And you don't have to put up with the bullshit with the younger generation. See, like this neighborhood, it's in 70 years, almost 75 years, this neighborhood has just gone to hell. Arizona City. Now I'm going to have to gargle Arizona City on a map and find out where it's at. Never heard of Arizona City. A mixed community. That could be good, that could be bad. Depending on what you have for neighbors on either side. Like this neighborhood, back growing up, it was all I would say people in their 30s up to retirees, and it was a real quiet neighbor. Even though, there were a lot of kids, they respected the rights of, the seniors. If we wanted to act like idiots, we went to the woods. If we were, playing baseball or something in the neighborhood, we respected everybody. Mainly because if you got out of line, that person would kick the shit out of you and then drag you down to your parents, and your parents would kick the shit out of you again. Seems like there's a lot of houses that have walls around them. Matter of fact, my friend in Scottsdale, yeah. What is with the walls? I've heard of gated communities, but you have a gated community and then a walled community. Yeah, she lives in a cul-de-sac. I think there's 6 or 8 houses. And yeah, there's frickin' walls everywhere. I don't know what it is with the walls. Walls and big giant cacti. Well, I know for privacy, but they don't believe in fences. They build walls. I mean, nothing against it, but it seems like that's the building code. Build a house, build a wall. And make sure that you have a big giant cacti in the front yard. Because you can't go dig them up out of the desert. That's a no-no. They're protected. At one time, they weren't. At one time, if you wanted a cacti, you went out in the desert with a shovel. Then the government went, that's a no-no. You can't be digging up the cacti. Although I'm sure if people see a little one, they go, we'll take this back. In 100 years, it'll be a big one. Well, as long as the wildlife is, animal wildlife and not two-legged wildlife, you don't need to be in between, two sets of rappers with giant speakers. Boom, 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 boom. Salute. Oh, man, that shit don't get any better. I bought 2 more bottles today. I'm thinking of calling Ocean Spray and tell them run a pipeline to the house with a faucet. And then I had to get a different brand because I bought what was left of the Ocean Spray. And you got shelves and shelves and shelves of cranberry juice mixed with everything from apple to avocado. Then on the bottom shelf, I find, natural, unsweetened. Blow the dust off. Yeah, pick up the bottle. Yep, this is the shit. I came across a very interesting YouTuber today. His YouTube channel is called Sergeant Steve. And I'll tell you what I like about it. He shows you the video, and then he digs to find out not only what they were charged with, but when the case goes to court and the final disposition. I like knowing that from the arrest all the way to the end. If he can find out the disposition, he lets you know. And he does some pretty cool commentary during the videos. So I highly recommend you give him a look-see. Sergeant Steve. And I'm not getting paid to endorse him. Neither am I getting paid by Ocean Spray to drink cranberry juice. Blah. We might possibly have some new viewers tonight because when I came out of Mark's, there were 2 women writing down my YouTube channel off the Passat. So if we had new viewers, welcome. And if you feel like it, join the chat. Let us know who you are. They're looking right now going, that wasn't the guy that was in the store. Like, who the hell is this guy? He don't look like the guy that was coming out in the car in the Olympic jacket. Although I think I'm going to start wearing this more places. I might wear it to my... I'm going to wear it to my pain management doctor appointment tomorrow. I can see him do the knock, knock, knock. Open the door and go, oh, wrong room, sorry. Then he's like asking the nurse, where did you put Grumpy? Well, he's in room 3. No, that ain't him. You look in the door. Sorry. You had to put him in a different room. That's not him. Then I'll have to pull the wig off. He'll walk in and go, asshole. That's me. I got my sign today. It says, I'd like to help you out. Which way did you come in? You had a Burger King crown? Kathy, the Burger Queen. You know, my father had a very interesting sign over the door to his office. And when he retired, he forgot to take the sign. And I would have loved to have had it. Because the sign over the door to his office read, many people bring happiness here. Some by coming in, others by leaving. And it was right over the door to the office. People would sit down in his office go, well, somebody gave it to him as a joke, and he put it up over the door to the office. Oh, God, the last time I had Burger King, oh, jeez. It's got to be 3 or 4 years. It's got to be 3 or 4 years since I had Burger King. As a matter of fact, it's longer than that. Because it's about 4 years since I've been in McDonald's. And it's got to be 5 or 6 years since I've been in Burger King. Well, that one sounds cool. Go on, get. I'd put that one right on my front lawn. Matter of fact, I have been going to rallies, which in some places is called checkers, because they run a lot of specials. Like, what the hell is that burger? Oh God, I can't think of the name of the burger. But you got it's like a double cheese bountiful burger or something. You got the burger, fries, and a drink. $5. And they're constantly running these $5 deals. Like, you get the big chicken sandwich, fries, and a drink, $5. $5. You go into McDonald's, a hamburger is $5. And TV is here. How you doing there, buddy? By popular demand, Grumpy Stern is back, along with the Grumpy Jackalope. You ought to hear what the bird is saying behind me. If he's not careful, I'm going to elbow him in the beak. Every other word is CEO, CEO. Yeah, go to the CEO, see what I care. Without me, he wouldn't have these 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So he won't mess with me. And today, believe it or not, in the milk chute was my second set of tap and go USB LED lights. I had to get a second set. I don't know what I'm going to use them for yet. And they were actually in the milk chute. I guess the GoFo drivers that don't read English too well got the point. Although my delivery instructions now read side door and then capitals, not front porch. I guess they can read that now and understand it. Oh, not front porch, side door. Because since then, everything's been going to the right place. Well, I don't know about Michigan TV, but winter usually goes from November to June in Cleveland. I take it you had snow up there this morning too? Not a lot, but enough to irritate me. Yeah, Cleveland. Just, you don't like the weather? Wait 5 minutes, it'll change. But winter usually runs 6 months. No, in Cleveland, it'll snow in July. That's about what we had here, TV. Yeah, spring fever. I can't wait. Although March here is a goofy month. March is real goofy. I've seen March get, you know, in the 60s, 70s, and then I've seen March where you open the door and there's 3 feet of snow in the driveway. Even April is goofy here. God, I remember one year in the middle of April we had snow. I was like, Jesus, is this shit ever going to end? Where's global warming when you want it? Next year I'm gonna shoot Punxsutawney Phil. You know, Kathy, I'm thinking of right behind the house. I'm thinking of growing some tomatoes this year because the soil right behind the house is there basically hasn't been anything planted in there in God 30, 40, 50 years. So I'm thinking that it might be some really great growing soil. I'm going to treat it. I'm going to get me a bag of composted manure. I'm going to get some peat moss, some topsoil, work it in, and then I'm going to go up to my favorite nursery and get me a couple of tomatoes. And we'll see if I have one Jack and the Beanstalk one this year. Because they have the pictures behind the counter. I took and I uploaded them on a thumb drive, and then I went to CVS and I had two 8x10 pictures printed of the Jack and the Beanstalk tomato plant. And when I went in there last summer, they were still hanging up. Because even they couldn't believe it. And I said, I bought them things here. You know I'm here every year. Yeah, I'll tell you what, the tomatoes are lousy. I bought one a couple weeks ago. It was like eating cardboard. It had no flavor whatsoever. Back in the day, Kathy, and you know, it would be more, your parents buying tomatoes. Ohio at one time had the most hothouses. We were known as the state that grew tomatoes under glass. And even though they were hothouse tomatoes, they had good flavor. And then over the years, when growers got out of the business, They ended up tearing a lot of the greenhouses down. There is still one up on Grayton Road, but it's only like a third of the size it was when I was a kid. Although, the generations after, they didn't want to bother with that shit. Kids were like, yeah, I grew up doing this shit. I don't want to grow tomatoes all my life. But at one time, we had the most greenhouses out of any state in all 50. Same thing. We used to be the world producer of eggs. Down in Croton, Ohio. It was like 70% of the United States eggs came from Ohio. That was like, oh God, what was the dairy state? Was that Minnesota? Or is that the one, land of a thousand lakes? I remember the license plate. One would say land of a thousand lakes, and another one said the dairy state. And unfortunately, it's no longer the dairy state. Wisconsin, the dairy state? It might be on the license plate still, but they don't have the dairies that they had 50 years ago. I think Minnesota is the land of a thousand lakes. Or is it 10,000 lakes? I think it's 10,000. Or was, is, should be. I don't know too many lakes that dried up. – 10,000, okay. I knew they had a lot of lakes. Can you imagine attempting to fish each lake? Wonder how long it would take you. You'd have to fish like 1,000 lakes a year or something. I could see a guy. Okay, I'm done. Next lake. I'm done. Mark it off the list. Well, we'll be waiting. That way we won't have to hear about the elephants anymore. Are you thinking of moving, Kathy? You you don't want to move to Wisconsin. Although, yeah, you like snow. Yeah. I could see Kathy move to Wisconsin, open her door one day. I can't see the front lawn. Holy shit. I can't get out of the house. I'm snowed in. Yay! Pull up the shade and there's snow 6 inches from the top of the window. Holy Christ, did it snow last night? Thank God the F-150's in the garage. Open the garage door, there's a wall of snow. I ain't going nowhere. I'll make a snowman. You know, if I could move, I have no idea where I would go. You know, people say Florida. Well, not for me. Because one of these days, they're going to change the slogan on the license plates from the Sunshine State to the Depend State. Arizona, too hot. California, too many idiots. Not to mention landslides, floods, fires. I don't know where I would go. If somebody said, hey, you name a spot, I'll buy you a house, everything free and clear, where would you go? I don't know. I know I'm tired of Cleveland. But I really have no idea where I would go. You're not safe anywhere, really. Arizona, you roast your ass off. Go to Florida, a hurricane come through, take your house. Guess I'll just stay here. I've been kicking around some ideas to redo Studio One. Because I've got to get over there and do some work. I have to get the mixer. I got a different mix. I'm going to go back to the old mixer because that new one is acting up. Buy a new interface. Put a couple of new monitors up. Because I actually missed using Studio One. Although I have to buy another computer. But I got some cool ideas for a redo of Studio One. Some real cool ideas. If I could get it to work. I really want it to look like a newsroom over there. I just have to figure out how to mount a couple of monitors behind me. And then figure out where the hell to put, 4 or 5 computers. But I'm going to wait until the weather gets better because that way I can open the window, turn on the ceiling fan. Because I'm kicking around doing something like at noon every day. Something like a newscast. But I would only run it for like half an hour. Nothing. I bought a green screen, which is not a screen, it's just a big giant piece of green cloth. And I never used it. That's part of my idea for Studio One. Put that green screen up and actually make use of it. This is the background that Ron found. I didn't even know that they have a Cleveland background, and next thing I know, it showed up here. Although Temu has one also. I found one today, and it's a real cool one. I'm thinking of ordering it. And instead of the green screen in Studio One, I'm thinking of putting that background over there. Although I only have like 40 different backgrounds. This is a print. It's on cloth. It's a screen print. It's a big piece of cloth. Ron found it. I was making a joke one day. I said, God, I wish they had a background of downtown Cleveland. And next thing you know, it showed up. Yeah, it's a screen print. It's a big piece of cloth. It's what it is. Yeah, like a banner. I mean, you're talking a banner that's 40 by 60. Whoever screen printed it did a beautiful job. Easy. Don't be knocking shit apart here. Get better. I mean, this, I'll tell you what, all the shit that I bought from Temu, this here is class. This is not some cheap piece of Temu crap. It's a beautiful screen print. Ron got it off of Amazon. I had no idea that they made a Cleveland because I have I got one I bought off of Temu. You know, it's downtown New York. I had it. I used it for a couple of times, and I made the joke one night. I said, "God, I would love to have a downtown Cleveland backdrop." The next thing you know, Ron come in one night and said, "Check your front porch. It's been delivered." And sure enough, I love it. I really do. It's well printed. Believe me. The company that made this thing did a wonderful job on it. They really did. One of these days, I'm going to light it up with white light so that you can really see what it looks like instead of the colored lights. But it's outstanding. It really is. I can't thank Ron enough because I didn't know it existed. And you know, I've told the story before. This has a lot of meaning to me for two reasons. First of all, down here at this end of the bridge, my grandfather was a Cleveland police officer, my mother's father, and he directed traffic at the foot of this bridge. And then my father's parents, my grandfather on the other side, actually built the terminal tower. He was one of the steel workers that built. So this shot here has a lot of meaning for me. It really does. Hey, Oodles, how are you? Yeah, deliveries GoFo side door. They have been delivering to the side door in the milk chute. So, that's one of the reasons that I haven't changed the backdrop because it has a lot of sentimental meaning. Knowing that both of my grandfathers were within seeing of each other. There's a possibility that the two of them met. Because I would almost guarantee my grandfather crossed the street down here to go to the little diner that used to be on the corner. So the two of them probably knew one another. Which would be, really cool. What would be the chance that the two of them, actually talk to one another every day? Because there used to be a little diner down here on West 9th. And I'm sure the guys from if they didn't bring a lunch, maybe they went down to the diner to get a sandwich. And he was directing traffic down here because there were no traffic lights at the time. Possibility. You never know. I mean, it would be cool to know. So, that's why, when I took it out of the package and I unwrapped it, I was like, oh my God. Because it is a bit of a work of art. I mean, the company that screen printed it just did an outstanding job. Because it's on heavy cloth. It really is. It's not that thin shit that I get from Temu that the shit is like tissue paper. This is on a heavy piece of cloth, and the print work is perfect. Absolutely perfect. And, you know, when I made the joke and when Ron sent it, he didn't realize what it would mean to me in the long run. And like I say, I had two grandfathers that I'm sure crossed paths. And to know one was directing traffic here and one was building what I still call the terminal tower. They call it Tower City now. And I've got pictures somewhere of this building under construction with my grandfather and a bunch of the other steel workers sitting on a goddamn beam eating lunch. And they're like up here. And there ain't no safety net. They're just sitting on that I-beam like the thing is 10 foot wide, you know. So this shot of downtown Cleveland has a lot of meaning to me growing up as a kid, because there were many times that my grandfather kind of walked me through the building, you know. Of course, you know, I'm a little kid. I can't walk 300,000 stairs. Because I vaguely remember going up to the observation tower, which I don't think is open anymore. It's somewhere up in here. You used to be able to go up into the observation room, and man, what a view. But I vaguely remember it. I was a little kid. I more remember getting the Peterson roasted nuts on the way home, you know. So that's why I have stuck with this backdrop, because I can't take it down. I mean, I've got easily 40 different ones I bought from Temu. And I would switch them out all the time. But this one, I don't have the heart to take it down and use something else. Now, eventually, I will take these down because they're getting a little old, and you know they're blocking the key bank tower. But yeah, this Ron answered a joke, and he doesn't realize what he did. And if I buy the other backdrop, I'm going to use it over in Studio One because I won't take this one down. I think this is going to be my permanent. But the one I found on Temu is really neat. I'm not going to say too much because I want the surprise effect when I because I am going to buy it. Matter of fact, it's in my cart, but there's a few other things I want to purchase with it. So yeah, it's already in my shopping cart. So, Ron, you know, answering a joke, you still you don't know what that means to me to have this. I can't thank you enough, buddy. Because I never thought to search it out myself. Because one of these days, if my sister ever finds the albums, she's got pictures of my grandfather and his horse. Because he was in the mounted unit. In the winter, he rode a horse and for parade duty. And then in the summer, he rode a motorcycle. A good old Cleveland police Harley Davidson. But once the shitty weather set in, out come the horsey. Yeah, some cool history behind this backdrop. Matter of fact, I should. I'm gonna have to kind of move the way I sit here so I can keep looking at the terminal tower, and I'll have to readjust the camera a little bit. As much as I hate touching the camera, I got it where it should be. Because I also have a new camera for Studio One too. That's why I say that studio is going to get a complete overhaul over there. It needs it because right now I can't even broadcast from it. Looks like a bomb hit over there. Because I ordered a wall mount for my. As much as I didn't want to drill any holes in the wall, in order to get the other monitor up where I want it, I have to put a wall mount. So I ordered that. So the whole studio is going to get a little bit of a. Although you won't see that computer monitor up there. That's for me. But I've been kicking around doing a noon, a half hour thing. The only problem is I don't know if I could do it daily because there isn't that much corny stuff in the news. That's mainly what it would be. Something that I found that was funny or corny or And that shit don't happen every day. So I've been kicking around a half-hour lunchtime gig. Although it might be something I just do a couple days a week. We'll see. It's in the planning stage. It could get canceled and go with something else. So everybody keep your fingers crossed for Ron so he can get out of that shitty apartment that he's in. You won't know what to do with yourself, Ron. You'll be walking around that house going, holy shit, do I have all kinds of room? And nobody making noise above me. Have your own driveway. You can wash your car. Have a nice garage. It'll definitely be different living, Ron. Got my fingers crossed. I hope we get good news from you tomorrow. That way you can give notice to that shitty apartment complex. I'm out of here. Because you know, Ron, what they'll do, once you move out, they'll redo the apartment, new carpet, new appliances, fresh paint. Because you know damn right well they can't rent that apartment out in the condition it's in now. I don't know anybody that would go into an apartment and go, what do you mean the stove don't work? Speaking of stove, I had a goddamn burner went out on mine. I have to get a new electric burner. Hopefully they still have it for a stove that was made in 1947. We got an appliance parts store up the street. I'm going to have to go up there. The woman will probably go, you got a what? We haven't carried parts for that in 30 years. Oh, gee, thank you. And it had to be the big burner, not the little one. You know. Yeah, they when they moved in, they purchased that brand new 1947. It still works. It's amazing. Although I hate electric stoves. Oh, God, I hate them with a passion. The last 3 houses I've been in had electric stoves, and I still can't cook with a damn on an electric stove. At least with gas, you can regulate the flame, you know. Goddamn thing. 3 ain't, put it on 5. 5 is too much. Put it on 4. No, that's not enough. Try 4.5. I like my gas stove. I can look and go, oh, okay, I turn that burner down just a little bit more. There we go. Not that I do that much cooking. I do a lot of mine with my crock pot. I love my crock pot. I'm going to make me some eggs this week. I picked up a dozen. Maybe not this week. I got to let them set for a bit. I'm starting to have pickled egg withdrawal. And since I nailed the recipe, although I think I'm going to put in a little less sugar and a little more cider vinegar. Watch me screw them up. Any luck finding me any insulators, Kathy? That way I can show the kids in the neighborhood and say, this is the way wiring used to be. Every telephone pole had them fancy glass insulators, all different colors. Although most of them out around my uncle's were blue and green. There were some poles that had clear ones. But I remember seeing a lot of blue and green pole after pole after pole after pole. Then when they put in new poles, they stopped using the glass insulators. God, I remember seeing some telephone poles that had a sag in them. Used to be neat taking a drive out in the country. Rows and rows and rows of corn and pole after pole after pole of green and blue glass insulators. God, I wish I would have grabbed that box my uncle had in his garage or in his barn. He must have had 50 of them in that box. But who the hell thought they'd be worth anything? Look in the box. Matter of fact, well, even if I would have grabbed one as a kid, it probably would have gotten lost or thrown out. My mother had a bad habit of throwing my shit away. Like my baseball card collection. Oh, I could have killed her. Yeah, you were too old for them. Where are they? I threw them away. When? Oh, months ago. I was half tempted to go to the landfill. What are you doing, kid? I'm looking for my baseball cards. Well, they're probably about 40 feet under over at that side. All right, give me a shovel. I'll start digging. Got to think of how much money ended up in landfills. My model car collection, baseball cards, kids' games from when they were young, Tonka toys. Everything just got buried and plowed under. Yeah, tomorrow I have to go see my pain management doctor. I'm going to give him his sign. All right, where'd I put it? Oh, God, where the hell did I put his sign? Here it is. His new improved pain scale sign for his office. He'll get a kick out of this. Although he'll probably take it home because somebody will probably steal it. Yeah, I'm going to tell him, I'll make you a deal. I'll give you this sign. Don't screw with my medication. Okay, cool. Thank God everything is. I'm about 98.9% back to normal. I got two more big Jagundus antibiotic pills to take, and then I'm done. Oh, yeah, Cat, he'll get a kick out of it because him and I kind of got the same sense of humor. Although I would love to see him hang it in his office. The only problem is, he's got what, 4 examining rooms? It'd be cool to have one in each examining room. Okay, scale of 1 to 10. Give me your pain. Oh, yeah. I'm a number 8. I can't move. It hurts so bad. Number 9, mauled by a bear or ninjas. Number 10, my pain level, unconscious. Yeah, it's hilarious. Too bad they bent it in shipping. You know, I've been trying to straighten it. You'd think that they would package it a little better. I bend it one way, it goes right back. But I'm not going to mess with it because I'll really screw it up. You would think they would pack it with a little stiffer packing material so don't, although, you know, something like this, they just wing it, and then they throw a box on top of it. You know. Like when you put Fragile, instead of them throwing it from 10 feet into the bin, they throw it from 5 feet, you know. Yeah, I had a package I shipped out, been a while, and I had Fragile all over it because it was. And you know, the girl at the counter, she walked over and very gently set it in the bin. And I said to her, I said, well, that's the last time you'll see it like that. Somebody will pick it up and wing it across the room. They don't treat Fragile today like they used to. When you put Fragile on something back in the day, it got treated like it was fragile. Not today. Oh my God, really? They lost the last game? Oh my God. After that outstanding season. But they're still in the tournament, right? God, with the winning season, let's hope so. One 3-point shot. Oh, God. They had to be beside themselves. But at least it wasn't a blowout. Although, you know, Murphy's Law, it had to happen. But they had a hell of a season going. I'll say that. They had a hell of a season going. You would think with as much of that shit that I've drank already, it would taste different. No. Well, let's hope that when the tournament starts, they get their fire back. Because that loss, oh, that had to ruin them. But they can regroup now. Oh yeah, they had a hell of a season. But you know, sometimes you kind of you get full of yourself, you know, and it takes a loss to kind of shake you up and go, whoa. Next time we really got to play. Yeah, I'll tell you, this loss will really fire them up because I'm sure they're all talking among themselves like, we can't let this happen no more. But they had a hell of a season. They really did. Boy, that a season to be proud of. Look at even NFL teams. They go with a perfect season and then they lose one. So yeah, this will re-energize them now. Soon as that tournament starts, those guys are going to be on fire. The tournament games are really going to be games to watch because those kids will be so energized. It would be fun to sit down and watch them games. Yeah, they got a season to be proud of. I'll tell you what. And it wasn't like, the softball season with the ringers. That sucked. That softball season, that sucked. That bullshit. But the kids that were playing softball that are also playing basketball, it really fired them up. Pissed them off and said, we'll show them. And they did. Those kids that played softball that ended up with, the season ending because of the cheating, it fired them up to really give 120%. And they did because the season they had was unbelievable, especially a couple of the blowouts. The tournament is going to be real fun to watch. Too bad they're so far away. I drive down for a game, but first of all, we're not sure the facade would make it there and back. Second of all, I don't own it. I could see me get down to Tennessee and some Tennessee state trooper pull me over. Hey, northern boy. Yeah. What's with the phony tags on that car? What do you mean, silver bracelets? What do you mean you're towing my car? Yeah, Kathy, but you got to remember it's a different generation of kids from when we grew up. They're more conditioned than we are or were. But it is amazing to watch, a 12-year-old make a three-pointer. But like I say, they're better conditioned. A mailbox on my front bumper. I don't have a mailbox on my front bumper. I've got a fog light mounting bracket. It actually belongs on a Jeep. But instead of mounting the fog lights right direct to the bumper, I've got the fog lights mounted on. It looks like a bumper extension. Because as soon as the weather breaks, I've got to mount the siren speaker on there yet, too. But I would like to own the car before I start putting that on there. I don't need anything to draw attention to me right now. That way, once I have that on there, I can use the air horn. Because the Passat's got a little meep meep horn on it. That way I could have the police air horn. Ah, 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 ah. Scare the shit out of people. With a police siren that I bought off of Temu for $30. You can go on Temu and buy an actual police car siren, 200 watts, just like the police use, for $30. Or you can buy the kit that comes with the siren and the speaker for $48. You know, years ago, you couldn't buy a siren assembly unless you were, law enforcement or something like that. Now you go on Temu, $30 siren, $48 siren and speaker. And they're the same speakers that they use on the police cars. Because I checked. That's where I got my sirens from. Every vehicle I own has a siren in it. The Riot is the shitbox. Every time I blow the air horn, another piece of the body falls off it. Yeah, that usually happened out in the country. You'd get back to your house and wonder why there was a mailbox stuck to the front of your car, and then you go, "Holy shit! I think that's my neighbor's." Oops. I told my joke to a cashier at Mark's today. One that I only talk to every now and then. She didn't get it. I had to repeat it 3 or 4 times. I said a cow and a pig and a chicken walk into a barbecue. She's like, okay. The end. What? I said, stop and think about it. A cow, a pig, and a chicken. Got that? Yeah. They walk into a barbecue. Okay. The end. The end of what? I said the end of the cow, the pig, and the chicken. Well, why'd they walk into a barbecue? Never mind. Ring me out, finish. How much? Here's my card. Younger generation. They're definitely not rocket scientists. Of course, nowadays you don't hear corny jokes like you used to back in the day. God, I watched some comedian the other night. I can't remember what the hell his name was. I'm like, you ain't funny. How the hell did you get on, HBO? I didn't think any of the shit in his routine was funny. People in the audience, they must have been paying him to laugh. Can't think of his name. He didn't make a good impression on me either. Different generation, I guess. Yeah, what TV. I think he was trying for the shock effect, and he just, to me, his timing was off. And if a comedian's timing gets off, they can't recover. Yeah, the today's comedians, I don't get them. I don't get them. Yeah, because you don't have that live audience feedback on a podcast. I watch him every now and then. I'm not a big fan of Rogan. I never was. But that's why he had to go to podcasting. I mean, he has a big following, but he he's no good as a stand-up. His material sucks. Like I say, every now and then I'll tune into him, but I'm not a big fan. I never was. Well, man, the walking belly is here. Yeah, I know you're starving to death. Yeah. Well, I have to feed the walking belly. He's about ready to drop over from hunger. Fat pig. 22 pounds and you think he's starving to death. Yeah, go ahead, rub against my leg. Yeah, I know you're hungry. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. And we will meet again right here tomorrow night. The home of not one, but 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Thanks for being here. It's been another fun night. And we will meet again tomorrow night. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we will have the obligatory 2 Cias per OBS. That was Cia 1. I wasn't ready for it. So now we'll have a Cia 2. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.